Hi, everyone. Welcome to another exciting edition of Words, Images, and Worlds. Delighted on this episode to be talking with someone who's been in the comics and visual arts world for quite some time and made quite a marking contribution to the world of comics, and that is creator, author Trina Robbins. Trina, thank you for
Hi.
jumping in. Hi. And I'm glad you have your tea. I have my water as well, so I think we are set. I'll start out with just a few representative titles to mention for folks out there, and then we'll just talk through a few questions. Wonder Woman being one of those titles and characters, women's comics being another. You created in the world of Barbie, which was quite the thing this past summer. You also had a hand in a character called Vampirella as well. Yeah. And then you've done kind of analysis work too, historian and analysis work with things like Dauntless Dames, Pretty in Ink, and books of that nature. So lots
That's
of work.
really, excuse me, that's the majority of what I have done, really, I think,
Mhm.
is talking about all these comics that represent women or that were by women.
Yeah. Yeah. Certainly a part of the comics industry that's not been as present for quite some time. Yeah.
But it's back. It's back. I mean, don't go to the comic books, go to the graphic novels, and you'll
Mhm.
see so many by women.
Yeah, yeah. Any particular graphic novels that you're currently reading or that you've read recently that you want to shout
Oh,
out?
God, I can't think of any right now, actually. Um, there are so many. Oh, I think that, let's see, Emily Bowen Cohen wrote a book,
Hmm.
I believe it's called Two Tribes, which is really interesting. The two
Hmm.
tribes are, one is Native American and the other is Jewish. I mean, nowadays, people, for many, many years, people have intermarried. So they're made up of all these interesting combinations.
Yeah, yeah. Thinking about Marnie Galloway. And I also read a lot of graphic novels that are in sort of like the young adult and middle grade space because I'm a
Oh, yes,
teacher.
definitely. There are so many. There are
Yeah.
so many young adult, middle grade graphic novels. Yes.
Hmm. Hmm. What makes comics kind of this unique way of storytelling?
Oh, well, the combination of words and pictures, of course. I mean, they
Hmm.
say that one picture is worth 1,000 words. But what happens when you put them together? It's perfect communication. And I
Yeah.
really am interested in communication. Actually, the part of the brain that deals with communication is larger in women than in men. So
Uh-huh.
I think
Uh-huh.
we love to talk, we love to communicate. And that comics are the perfect method of communication.
Yeah, that sounds like a book title. Perfect communication. I like that a lot.
Maybe I'll write it.
Yes, yeah, I would love that. So as somebody that's been in the industry and written about the industry, who have been some of the folks along the way who have been some of the most positive experiences, collaborators, supporters?
Oh, well, there is, I have collaborated with a number of artists. Most of them, I would say women. The woman that I collaborate the most with, I write and she draws, is Ann Timmons.
Hmm.
She's
Hmm.
really, really good. We did a series called Go Girl that was for, as you mentioned, for, tweens, for
Hmm.
that. But of course, we had lots of grown-up fans, because I love comics for tweens,
Hmm.
I mean, everyone likes them. And the way I have described her art is that she draws like me, only better.
Hmm.
So we're currently working on something right now for a book called Partisans, about all the partisans that the underground people who fought the Nazis in occupied countries during the Second World War. We're
Oh,
writing about three Dutch girls, teenage girls in an occupied Holland, that would dress up, put on makeup and everything, and go to bars and meet Nazis and flirt with them. and suggests that they go out for a walk in the forest. And once
Hmm.
they got them into the forest, the Nazis of course thought they were going to get lucky, but the girls would shoot them. That's what they did.
Wow.
Three
Wow.
teenage Dutch girls. So we're telling their story.
Love it. Yeah, that's and that again speaks to the historical work that you do. That is so cool. Now, as I mentioned, I'm a teacher and I work with students and I try to find books that connect with readers and where readers can see themselves. And so I'm curious about any message that you would share for listeners out there who are maybe part of a population, a group of people that haven't been represented as often as they should have in comics. Any message for creators
Well,
thinking that way?
women and people of color, of course, were not represented a lot or were represented very badly in
Hmm.
comics in the past. But I believe they are not represented badly now. I mean, because women and people of color are doing their own books and
Hmm.
talking about themselves and the people they know. So it's been a wonderful change, really.
Yeah, yeah. And may it continue. May it continue.
Oh, of course, may it continue. Well, once it's here, it's not going to stop, you know.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. And I love that idea of supporting authorship and finding stories that maybe something people haven't experienced that they want to read about, or something that
Yes.
they have that they want to dig into and again see themselves in a book in some way. Yeah.
Um, back in oh God, it was quite a few. I think it was pre-pandemic. Um, that I had a book that was considered being considered for an Eisner.
Hmm.
Um, and instead, it didn't win the Eisner. Instead, what won the Eisner was an anthology of Black women cartoonists. And the woman who accepted it, the editor who accepted the Eisner, gave such an impassioned talk. And I completely understood her passion, and I was fine with her winning it. I've had
Yeah.
Eisners, it's okay. And it's her chance now, it's her turn.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. In the work that you've done, the historical work, and by the way, I see a couple of Eisners back there actually on the
Oh,
shelf.
yes. Oh, yeah.
Uh, in the work that you've done historically, what's that process been like of digging through and finding the materials for the work?
Mm, I love research. I love research. I would say 95% of the reason I write the books is to find out more about the women I'm writing about.
Hmm.
It's just so great. Every time I make a discovery, it's so exciting. I mean, I discovered the first American woman to draw a comic. That was Rose O'Neill. And now it's canon. It's canon now that she was the first woman cartoonist to draw a comic. And I found that comic. I found that comic personally,
Mm.
believe it or
Wow.
not. It was around the corner from my house, just around the corner. This guy was having a sidewalk sale. Actually, it was kind of a front steps sale. He had the stuff on his front steps. And I saw that he had some copies from the 1890s of a magazine called Truth.
Hmm.
And what I knew about Truth was that Grace Drayton, who was one of the earliest women to draw comics, that she had drawn a cover, at least one cover of Truth magazine. I thought, oh boy, let's see if I can find it. And I
Yeah.
bought them all for $5 each. I didn't even have enough money. I had to run around the corner and go home to get the money. Um, I brought them home, and there was no cover by Grace Drayton, but there was a comic, 4 panels by Rose O'Neill from 1896. So
Wow. Wow.
I discovered the first woman to draw a comic in America.
Wow. That great contribution to the history. And you did research on the sidewalk. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah. So what questions or ideas are you currently circling? You're talking about the collaboration about the three Dutch girls. Um, so
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I've already written that script and she's drawing it.
Oh, nice, nice. Anything else that you're currently pursuing creatively?
Um, in the near future is Grace Drayton, who I just mentioned,
Hmm.
who I believe she started in comics in 1903. So she is one of the first women to draw comics. And she drew just I mean, she drew so much. She was really prolific. But just to mention something that people might know, she created the Campbell Kids.
Mm-hmm. Hmm.
You know the Campbell Kids.
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
as recent as the 1980s, Campbell's brought them back briefly and in cups and saucers and things like that and plates.
Hmm.
Um,
Hmm.
kind of a nostalgia thing. They haven't really done anything with them since. But she created the Campbell Kids in 1906. But I have a collection. You won't be surprised to hear.
Nice, nice. So any particular events or spaces where people can go to connect, anything of that nature that you'd like to share for listeners?
Um, well, in February, I'm doing a signing along with at least five other people at the San Francisco Cartoon Art Museum. And what we are signing, how could I not have mentioned this just a minute?
Sure, sure. By all means.
This
Ah,
this is a pro-choice comic anthology that
uh-huh.
I edited, and the profits are going to Planned Parenthood.
Wow. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we're doing a signing at the Cartoon Art Museum, the San Francisco Cartoon Art Museum, if you happen to live in the Bay Area in February. And we'll also be signing the book. Even more of us will be signing the book at the San Diego Comic Con this summer.
So you have a couple of journeys ahead and some travels.
Yes.
Yeah. I had seen I'd seen that you had contributed to that anthology, so great to see it there. And any spaces on the web where people can go and sort of check out some of the work and
You
some of the
know,
questions.
I don't have a page. I don't have a website. I used to have a website and then something weird happens. I like to say the Russians stole my website, but I have no idea who really did. But all of a sudden you turn it on and it's not me, it's some kind of ads and weird things like that. Somebody just took it. Um, and it was just too much trouble to do it again.
Yeah, yeah,
So
that makes
I
sense.
have no website, but I'm on Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
You can
Uh,
ask me to friend you.
yes, absolutely, absolutely. And Facebook is a great universal website anyway, so that works well.
Yes, it is. It's a universal website.
Yeah. Anything that we've missed in the talk through that you want to make sure to share?
I mentioned Won't Back Down.
Hmm.
I talked about the next book that is, that I'm going to start in the near future. And that's really it. But I mean, if somebody wants to ask me to write something, um, I love to write.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah. Well, wonderful. Glad that you're still contributing to the world of comics and finding
Oh, I'm not going
stories
to
to be
stop.
told. Love it. Love it.